Dude, is anyone counting layers here?
I would pay top dollar for that.
Well, you should, because it's a 7-pound piece of lasagna. Today, we're setting out to make the best lasagna possible.
You won't find any ricotta or mozzarella in this dish.
Instead, we're relying on the classic flavors and textures of the old country. Lasagna Bolognese.
Today,
On Dad's Guide to the Universe. We're doing it your way or the right way?
Mark, what does lasagna mean to you?
It's a pan of noodles, cheese, and sauce. It means everything to me.
What's the first recipe we have to do today?
It is Bolognese time. Bolognese is how they say it if you're from New Jersey and not Italian. That always starts with a simple sofrito.
More oftentimes called mirepoix. Carrot, celery, and onion finely diced so they melt into the sauce.
Yeah, we always start with carrots because they're the toughest ones to get through here. Once you're done with that, put in your onions and your celery.
The onions are actually gonna clean out the first two vegetables that went through with all that liquid.
Ooh, juicy.
All right, let's grind some meat. This is chuck. We want a classic beef flavor and good marbling. Oh, here comes all that onion juice. And put these in the freezer because when meat heats up, it'll actually render out or smear the fat and make the meat gritty. We're gonna brown our freshly ground beef with our ground sausage and a little bit of olive oil. And once it's cooked through and has a little bit of color, we're gonna add our vegetables. Carrot juice. We're not gonna move forward until the vegetables are cooked through and that water is evaporated. Ragu's about to happen. Oh yeah. This smells worth living for. You wanna add a little paste?
I think so. I don't think I've ever made a bolognese without tomato paste.
I love the tomato paste tip. I don't know why is that so cool?
It's just cool.
Right now we're gonna cook some of the rawness out of that tomato paste. This is insane right here. In Italy, they measure wine added to recipes by glass of wine. Isn't that insane?
Great.
The equivalent of a glass of wine. Oh yeah.
Whose glass?
Just 2 fingers.
Exactly.
It implies that it would go into a glass and you drink it. No garbage cooking wine. Let's add the passata. Passata is tomato puree. That is thick, it's not soupy, but I gotta show you the trick my grandmother gave me.
That's the trick. I mean, my grandmother did that too. I don't know why your grandma's so special.
The next step is patience. This has to cook down for quite some time. Everything we've done today has been pretty squirty.
All right, now that our bolognese is simmering down.
We're gonna roll out some fresh pasta sheets. Do you know lasagna is actually Italian for layered?
I did not know that.
I just made it up.
You had me. I would have just tell my parents that tomorrow.
You still can. All right, we're making a well here for the eggs. This is a very basic recipe. We're gonna do 100 grams of flour per egg.
Scramble those eggs without disturbing the flour. Once those are set, start to incorporate the flour little by little.
Once the eggs have sucked up enough flour to not run everywhere, mix in the rest of the flour and knead the dough.
Look, when you want to make pasta, best thing to do is grab your best friend who's Italian. Have them make it.
It does help. You can tell you're close to ready because now it's picking flour up instead of dropping it down. The move here, roll with one hand, turn it, roll again. All right, now we're gonna let this sit for about 20 minutes. It's gonna do 2 things. It's gonna allow the dough to hydrate and it's gonna allow the gluten to chill out a little bit so that it's easier to roll out into sheets. You wanna cover it in either a damp towel or some saran wrap because you don't wanna get a dry skin around the outside of the pasta. We're gonna make our pasta sheets. We have our pasta dough ball here that's rested.
After resting, cut the dough in 5 equal parts. Keep your other 4 pieces wrapped up so they don't dry out.
We're gonna give this guy a little rough shape. Give me some speed.
Speed. Look at that.
We're gonna run it through a couple times, folding like this. It's gonna allow us to get a better shape. And then we'll start sizing down. This feels really smooth, good overall shape. So now we're gonna jump down 2 clicks at a time. There's our first sheet. The number one issue that I've had in my life with making lasagna is having the sheets stick to each other.
Yep.
Make sure to dust your pasta sheets in flour. This will keep them from sticking together. I find this so relaxing. My favorite thing is to put on Frank Sinatra, grab a couple glasses of wine, and just make pasta. Don't be intimidated by making pasta at home. It's 2 ingredients, it's super simple, and the bar is low if you screw it up. This is like $2.50 in ingredients here.
It may not even be that much.
Note, we are not boiling the pasta before the cook. More on that later.
Mark, our last and final step is?
Bechamel, bitches. Starts off with a roux.
We'll melt some unsalted butter.
Don't let it get dark. We want a neon white clean roux.
Once the butter is completely melted, we'll add in the flour.
And then we're gonna cook off the raw flour taste. Now we're gonna add about a half a cup of the milk and make sure it's incorporated so we don't get any lumps. The milk should be added in portions. The roux needs time to soak up all that liquid.
Once you get all the milk in, stir it, and stir it.
The next thing to happen is to bring the milk up to like a really low boil actually, and that heat is gonna activate the roux.
I think you're done, buddy. Take her off the heat. Salt, nutmeg.
We're gonna pour this out onto a sheet pan so it cools a bit more rapidly. It should end up with a thick, custardy-like texture, and will be really easy to spread on our pasta sheets. We've got all the layers for great lasagna. Let's make it.
First, let's cut our pasta sheets to size. Make yourself a template and then trim each one to have clean edges.
Lasagna pants. We layer the bottom with bolognese and oil. This prevents it from sticking and protects that first layer from any direct heat. Now, it's all about making a repeatable pattern.
Pasta, bechamel, bolognese.
Now for the parmigiano reggiano. And repeat. And repeat. Remember how we didn't pre-boil our pasta sheets? That's because we're gonna cook this covered in foil. The moisture from our bolognese and bechamel is gonna help cook off our pasta completely. We're cooking at 400 degrees for about 40 minutes. We're gonna do this until the lasagna is heated through and the pasta is completely cooked.
Whoa.
We got some Michael Bublé happening there.
That is, oh my gosh.
We're going back in uncovered for 10 minutes to get some color.
Time for a final garnish of pecorino romano and basil. We're going for big pieces here, so we're gonna actually use the basil to help map out where we're gonna end up here. All right, moment of truth.
All right, it's time to taste this baby. Cut her up, Mark.
Inside or outside for first piece?
Oh, outside, hands down.
All right, you want the crispies?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh my gosh. I would pay top dollar for that at any restaurant.
Well, you should, because it's a 7-pound piece of lasagna.
I know. Well, how many layers are in there actually?
5 pasta layers, 4 stuffed layers.
The flavor that we were able to get in the bolognese,
With the freshly ground beef and all of that sausage is clearly the star.
not to mention the fresh pasta.
If you didn't think it was worth it, one bite will tell you.
I mean, yeah, it's almost like why would you ever not make fresh pasta? It's not very difficult. You just got to be cautious.
Well, of course, it wasn't difficult for you. You stood there and watched me do it.
Exactly. Get yourself an Italian friend. I've been saying it all along.
Because the pasta was fresh and thin and we cooked it covered, we didn't even need to pre-boil it, which is honestly one of the worst steps that you have to do.
Absolutely.
When making a lasagna.
What's great about this, there's no sugar in it, and the carrots give it just enough of that natural sugar that it molds with all the vivacious spices and everything else that we put in it. It's delicious. I'll have another bite.
That was incredible. You're not missing any cheesiness with that bechamel and the pecorino, which kind of cook together to make a Mornay sauce in there, but it's creamy, cheesy. The cheese is salty and nutty.
Yep. There's actually a little bit of a crust on the bottom where some of the crispy bits are.
Are we gonna keep saying the same thing over and over and over so we can just keep eating this?
Yeah, let's keep going. If you think this lasagna looked delicious and it was awesome to watch the video, guess what? Like and subscribe and we'll make some more. In fact, we'll maybe make this again or other Italian dishes. My Italian friend.